The past few days have been absolutely wild, with March 14th and 15th bringing a major severe weather outbreak across the United States. We saw damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes, including a powerful EF4 tornado in Diaz, Arkansas, that left behind significant destruction. But here's the big question: what's next? Will we see another round of storms? Could we see winter make a surprise comeback? And where's the next big weather system setting up? Well, we've got some interesting signals showing up in the latest forecast models, and the Storm Prediction Center has already put its eye on some areas of possible severe weather. So let's break it all down, starting with the latest SPC outlooks. Alright, so let's talk about the severe weather that's happening right now. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, for severe storms stretching from upstate New York through the mid-Atlantic and down into the southeast. If you live anywhere in these areas, you'll want to stay weather aware throughout tonight. If you step outside today and feel like you're being pushed around by the wind, you're not imagining it. A strong squall line is racing through the region, bringing widespread damaging winds. The SPC's wind outlook highlights 15% risk for damaging wind gusts across Virginia, Maryland, and parts of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. These winds could easily reach 60 to 70 miles per hour, which is strong enough to knock down trees, power lines, and send your trash can on a little adventure down the street. Even if you're outside the main risk zone, be prepared for strong non-thunderstorm winds behind the front. Now let's talk about the tornado risk. The good news, we're not expecting a widespread tornadoes anywhere. The bad news though, there's still a 5% tornado risk from North Florida up through the Carolinas and into the mid-Atlantic. This means a few spin-up tornadoes are possible, especially in any stronger sections of the squall line. These would likely be brief and embedded within the storms, so they could be hard to see. If a tornado warning is issued for your area, take it seriously and go to a shelter immediately. If you're worried about hail, this storm system isn't really built for big hailstones. There's a 5% hail risk in the southeast and mid-Atlantic, meaning some storms could produce pea to dime sized hail, but we're not expecting any giant windshield smashing hailstones. Alright, so I'm skipping over day 2 because honestly there's really not much to talk about right now, but as we head into Tuesday night and early Wednesday, we do have a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for severe weather in parts of southeast Nebraska and southern Iowa. Now before you get too excited, let's break down what that actually means. So if you live in Nebraska or Iowa, you might hear some loud raindrops tapping on your roof overnight Tuesday into early Wednesday, but some of those aren't raindrops. They might actually be hailstones. The SBC is highlighting this area for potential for isolated, marginally severe hail, meaning some storms could produce hail up to quarter size, but we're not expecting a full-on hailstorm outbreak. If anything, it'll just wake you up and probably not enough to break your car windows. So why is this happening? So there is a big upper level trough moving across the western United States, and that's going to help develop a strong low pressure system over the central plains. This system is trying to pull in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, but there's a problem. The Gulf is running low on moisture because of some of the dry air from the previous cold front. Think of it like trying to fill up a swimming pool with a garden hose. It's going to take some time. Because of that, storms that form will be elevated, meaning they're going to be mostly up in the clouds and not rooted in that juicy low-level moisture we usually need for big severe weather events. That's why we're only looking at a low-end hail threat and not a major severe outbreak. This will be an overnight event, meaning storms will start late Tuesday evening and continue into early Wednesday morning. For southeastern Nebraska, expect storms to fire up late at night, likely after 10 p.m. For Iowa, storms will spread eastward through the early morning hours, probably peaking around midnight to 3 a.m. This isn't going to be some widespread event, so many areas might not even see storms at all, but if you do, it'll likely be some rumbles of thunder and pockets of hail. Alright, so here's where things start to get active again. On Wednesday, March 19th, a new low pressure system, aka Mother Nature's next big move, is spinning up in the Midwest. Now this storm wants to pull in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, but there's a catch. there's not a ton of moisture to work with. So think of it like trying to make a smoothie with just a few drops of milk. You'll get something, but it won't be great. Because of this, the severe weather risk is low but not zero. The SPC outlook highlights a marginal risk possibly for parts across Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. The main concerns, some strong winds and maybe an isolated tornado. But let's be real, this isn't like a tornado outbreak again. It's more of a, hey, let's keep an eye on it type of situation. So what about tornadoes? The supercell composite model, which tells us whether or not storms might get tornadic, does show some elevated values near the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys. This tells us storms could briefly try to organize, but because of the limited moisture and instability, it's like a kid trying to do a backflip and only making it halfway. Could we see a few isolated tornadoes? Maybe, but right now this doesn't scream big tornado day, at least not yet. By Thursday, the cold front keeps moving east, bringing some leftover thunderstorms to the Ohio Valley and parts of the East Coast. The difference, the energy is fading. We're not expecting anything too wild, but a few storms could still pack some gusty winds and heavy rain. Meanwhile, back out west, we're already watching a new storm trying to form over Texas. If this one gets its act together, it could bring another round of storms to the southern plains and Gulf Coast by Friday or Saturday. Alright, that's your weather breakdown for this upcoming week. We've got a low-end severe risk on Wednesday, some lingering storms on Thursday, and another system possibly brewing for the weekend. So the atmosphere is definitely active. Now here's the deal. I'm going to start doing daily forecasts to keep you updated on everything happening with the weather, whether it's severe storms, winter weather, or just a wild temperature swing. I'll have you covered every day. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if you have any weather questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be checking those and might even answer some in the next video. So thanks for watching National Weather Watch, and I'll see you in the next forecast.